Good morning. Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Tracy Edwards. I'm the senior procurement buyer assigned to this project. This is a non-mandatory pre-proposal meeting for the request for qualifications, RFQ-25-00249, Community Housing Solutions Center projects. This meeting has been publicly noticed and provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to attend this meeting. This meeting is being recorded and the recording will be made available as soon as possible after the meeting has ended. Only a written addendum may change the proposal documents. All questions and answers today are not official until submitted in writing through online discussions. Responses and questions will be in the form of public notifications and an addendum if needed, and posted through online discussions. As note in section 4.6 of the solicitation document, any statements or comments made by county staff at this meeting which might appear to modify the proposal document shall be considered by proposals only as a tentative position of the county. In order for these statements to be considered as an actual change in solicitation, they must be published in a written addendum. All questions must be submitted in writing through the bonfire portal. A deadline for questions will be 14 days after the pre-proposal meeting per section 4.6 of the solicitation document. Please submit questions as early as possible so we can provide a response in a timely manner. Note, the county has already received multiple questions, some which may result in addendum, and some appear to be questions that can be answered with review of the exhibits already available. We're working on drafting responses. If you have already submitted a question in Bonfire, those answers will be posted, and for the sake of time, there's no need to restate them here. The specifications and instructions are detailed in section 1, 2, and 4 of the solicitation document. All supporting documentation and requested information can be found in Bonfire portal and is available for download as you scroll down through the different sections. The vendor discussion area is located also at the top. Please be advised that the cone of silence is in effect. Proposals should not contact any county employee other than myself or those identified in the cone of silence clause in the proposal document. As a reminder, online proposals must be submitted through Bonfire portal by 2 p.m. on June 16, the close date. We recommend early submissions in case of technical problems. I will now turn the meeting over to Laura Rice from the Homeless Services Department and let her introduce herself and any team member that we have here today. Laura will also discuss the scope of the project. Laura?
Good morning. Thank you. I'll share my screen real quick.
Did you introduce your team, Laura?
Yep. Hold on one second. Let me get this going.
All right.
There we go. Okay, thank you, Tracy. My name is Laura Rice, and I am the project manager for this RFQ. And my position title is the manager of the Homeless and Community Services Department. I also have several fellow team members online with me, including our department director, Felicia Crosby-Rucker. Thank you, Tracy, for covering the procurement-related topics, as well as highlighting those important dates for folks to keep in mind as they move forward. Okay. The Homeless and Community Services Department thanks all of the potential proposals that have joined the call today. As you can see by this slide, the department is seeking proposals to operate community housing solutions centers to offer temporary housing to individuals and/or families with minor children. The Community Housing Solutions Center will offer two different types of temporary housing: emergency housing and bridge housing. Also, also to look at that a little bit further, all of the goals regarding this project are permanent supportive housing, as well as other housing options that promote long-term self-sufficiency. There are several mentions in the scope of the RFQ regarding what the RFQ is totally named at. A few of these that we want to highlight include those that are on this slide. The first being the low barrier. We would like these sites to have few preconditions to entry as possible. Secondly, for this RFQ, no more than 85 beds should be at a single site for individuals, and no more than 100 rooms for families with minor children through multiple awards. Again, there are two different temporary housing types: bridge housing, which should not exceed 45 days, and emergency housing, which should not exceed 120 days. All properties identified for use as a community housing solution center must be inspected and meet the standards as specified in the RFQ. Additionally, there are multiple minimum requirements in the RFQ. These include, but are not limited to, experience, as described in the first bullet. Also, as stated in the second bullet, having the financial stability and capability to deliver the required services, including those of any subcontractor, as well as having the necessary resources and infrastructure to meet the service requirements as described. Lastly, to segue a little bit further into contracting and subcontracting, contractors need to be able to manage 20 or more beds per day or 25 or more rooms daily. Subcontracting will be required for agencies with a total capacity of less than 20 beds or less than 25 rooms daily. Some additional minimum requirements highlights: the service sites shall all be permanent structures located within Hillsborough County, Florida, properly zoned turnkey for its intended purpose, with a project operation start date of August 1st. Looking at the second bullet, the community housing solution centers need to be operational 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and include the basic services as described. Again, all of these services as described support the goal of participants quickly attaining permanent or permanent supportive housing. The RFQ also contains specific requirements related to the categories seen on this slide. There are two requirements that the Department of Homeless and Community Services wishes to highlight, and so we'll have another upcoming 2 slides about those. The highlighted areas include administration and operations, pricing, intake orientation, case management and support services, security and supervision, and expanded services, to which there are bonus points. The two topics that we're going to highlight further are those pricing and case management and supportive services. Here's the busiest slide. This is our pricing highlights. So as you can see, the project period is 38 months beginning August 1st, 2025. There is an estimated $21,993,148. Daily rates are split into two different categories. Those for individuals, which is a $60 per bed per night, as well as a daily participant family rate. And there are two subcategories for those, $75 for a subcontractor and $100 for a contractor. And those family rates, again, are for a family with minor children in all of the listed configurations that are in the RFQ. In addition to the daily rates, there are also allowable expenses. There is $15,000 per project year per contractor, which will be prorated for the first short project year. $5,000 per project year for the subcontractor, again, prorated for the first short year. An additional factor is that contractors that manage subcontract for agencies will be eligible for a management fee of 10% of the total subcontracted agreement amount, up to $50,000 per subcontract annually. The other minimum requirement that we wish to highlight is regarding case management and support services. In addition to requiring case management twice weekly, there are also 7 elements or domains that are described in the RFQ, which are critically important to supporting participants as they seek permanent housing. Those include housing services, physical health services, mental health and substance abuse, treatment services, educational employment services, financial services, legal support services, and social connection services. The RFQ also outlines 6 performance standards and outcomes that will be reported on monthly. Those include objectives related to occupancy, exit destinations and outcomes, unity data quality, and housing stabilization plans. They are specifically identified on this slide as well as the RFQ. This slide covers what was outlined in the RFQ related to evaluation criteria. There is a maximum of 100 points available, plus an additional 15 bonus points when considering expanded services and disadvantaged minority, disadvantaged women, business enterprise participation. This includes organizational history and capacity, experience and qualifications, service delivery, which has 3 components, facility location suitability / project readiness, and site visit, and that has 2 subcategories. And then again, the bonus points for expanded services and the disadvantaged minority, disadvantaged women, business enterprise participation. That's the end of the homeless and community services overview for the RFQ for Community Housing Solution Center projects. We thank everyone for attending, and I'm going to hand it back to Tracy for any final words.
Thank you, Laura. We will now open up for any questions. When you speak, please give me the name and your company. Again, the questions will, if you have anything particular, it will need to be submitted through Bonfire, the online discussion, so that everyone that would like to participate in the request for proposal will have the same information. And as I stated before, that there were questions that were submitted that we are working on, and no need to ask those questions again. So does anyone have any questions in regards to the scope that was just presented? Kimberly? I'm sorry, that's not Kimberly. I see a hand raised by Kennedy, is it? Marcia?
Yes, good morning. I was wondering, could Laura provide her notes that she just showed us?
I'm sorry, can you state the question again? It kind of broke up. I couldn't hear you.
I was wondering, can you share your presentation with us? Would you be able to,
It will be a part of the meeting that you will be able to get on the recordings.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby?
Hi, yeah, this is Bobby Davis. I'm with Cove Behavioral Health. On the rating sheet, there is one point where it talks about provide a detailed timeline of tasks, roles, and responsibilities to start services by June 1st, 2025. Can you clarify, is that intended to be August 1st?
Yeah, good catch. That's intended to be August 1st. Tracy, can we make that correction? Or do we need to do an addendum?
That will be an addendum. I'm looking to where it is listed within the specifications.
It's in the rating sheet on page 6 of 8.
One moment. Yes, I see that. That may not require an addendum, Laura. I will review it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I want to thank everyone for attending the request for qualifications pre-proposal meeting. Request for qualifications number of RFQ-25-00249, Community Housing Solution Center Project. Thank you all for attending, and if you have any additional questions, please submit them through Bonfire Portal within the timeline so that we can get them answered for you, again, sooner than later. And that will conclude the pre-proposal meeting.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.